It's early November here at the Rugged Homestead, and while the garden is being put to bed mostly, it's actually time to harvest asparagus seeds. I planted two different kinds of asparagus throughout the garden here. One was Jersey Giant and the other was Mary Washington. Mostly I was hoping for male plants to grow because they tend to be more robust. They're like the thicker asparagus spears that you're used to seeing. Female plants, because they produce seeds, tend to produce less spears and spears that are more spindly. Jersey Giants, though, have been bred just to produce male plants. So when I planted them, I knew that I was only going to be getting male plants. Mary Washington asparagus is an open pollinated asparagus variety, and it can produce male or female plants. Now, after about 2 years now of being in the ground, turns out I have at least one female plant. One easy way to tell the male plant, if you have one, is that it produces these flower heads, and they'll give small flowers on the plant, but that's a feature of a male asparagus plant. And of course, you let all your asparagus go, male or female, and they develop these ferns on top. So this is the second year that they're in the ground. So we'll begin harvesting them next year as the spears produce. I've planted them underneath my fruit trees, as you can see here. Some have grown better than others, and there's actually a few more over here. Maybe just make it out back there. But the strongest ones were here. So next year, again, we'll be begin harvesting them. And it's surprising how many plants actually, or spears, grow up from one plant. This was one crown planted here, but as you can see, there's just numerous spears that grow up out of here. But this also turns out to be a female plant. As you can see, all these berries on here, and they are ready, maybe past ready for harvesting, for taking and saving for next year. Certainly when they're bright red like this, they're ready to be harvested. If they're green, you'd want to leave them alone, like these over here. These are still green, so those aren't ready to be harvested yet. These might have a little more time to go, starting to turn the orange color. But where they're bright orange or bright red, those are ready to be harvested. So I just thought I'd show you how we go about doing that. Now, there are a couple of ways to plant seeds, asparagus seeds. You can take them out of the pods, and in each seed pod like this, there are 2 to 3, maybe 4, 5, or 6 seeds. I would imagine something like this might have just 1 or 2, while a bigger one might have more. But you can take them, dry them, and then in the springtime plant them again. Alternatively, and with much less effort, you just take the entire pod and plant that in the ground right away. And then in the springtime, assuming the seeds were viable inside, you should get a sprout to come out. Now, you wouldn't, of course, be able to eat the spears for a couple of years 3 years is usually like what they recommend waiting before you start harvesting the spears. But but you begin the process of growing them and then caring for them. However, what I'm going to do is actually a mix of that. Right over here, I'm going to be putting in a dedicated square foot bed right there. I'll frame it out, put in good soil, and I'm going to be planting asparagus seeds into there just as a trial to see how they grow. The rest of the seeds I'm going to collect, separate from the pod, dry out, and save till the springtime, and then along with the rest of my vegetables, plant them as well. So I've got all the berries picked. Not a whole heck of a lot. It was only actually 2 plants. This one here and that one there. Those were the only ones that have berries on them. Now, I do have a few other Martha Washingtons plants, but that's not these. I mean, that's what these are. But the others didn't produce any berries. Now, they tell you as the ferns start to die back and turn brown, like those over there, that you cut them off at the roots and for next year, so they're ready to grow for next year. However, I leave my ferns in, and that way when they naturally die to the ground, they'll provide a natural protection and mulch for the roots of the asparagus plant. I mean, I could cut them down and just lay it right on top, but let's let just Mother Nature take its course. Here it is, mid-March, and I never did get around to building that little square foot garden for the asparagus. I was going to take just a few of these seeds and just plant them just like that as a low effort way of growing asparagus. But last month I decided I would plant some asparagus and had to separate the seeds out of the pod here. So it's very simple to do. Basically, it's just crushing the seed open, breaking it open. And inside are the asparagus seeds. As I had mentioned, they each have a few seeds inside, anywhere from 2 to 5 or so. And this one has 3 in it. And I did that for a bunch of these pods. You have like seeds then that you can plant. So I just took these and I sprinkled them over some soil and watered them. I did that on February 20th. Today is March 13th. And this is what we got here. Let me just come up. There we go. So these have sprouted. I don't recall how many I planted, but it might have been about, I don't know, I thought about 10 I had planted. So 4 have sprouted. Actually, I think more did sprout, but a couple died back. That's why you want to plant more than what you actually need. But now these will grow on for the rest of the year. But there it is. You take the seeds, you harvest these seeds off the plant, let them dry out. That's what I did. And I guess it was about 5 months they dried out at least. And then I planted them just in some potting soil or seed starting soil. And all this seed starting soil is peat moss and perlite. Once they've germinated, I put them under grow lights, and they've been doing well ever since. Later on this year, as the plants progress, I'll provide an update on the asparagus growing, and then when I do plant them, I'll show you that process as well. Okay, thanks for watching.